is nearly here. The nearly 60-year-old Autzen Stadium ready to hit its prime here in the Big Ten era. The Oregon Ducks slowly working their way from the locker room in the world-class Casanova Center. There's the pipes that they know and love here at Autzen Stadium. The number 3 team of the nation, making you feel like you're at the center of the universe. Oregon knows how to make a presentation. This year they really think they know how to play football. Hi everybody, welcome here. Finally, the day has come. This is Yogi Roth. I'm Guy Haberman. They are not acting like the new kid in class. They're front and center with a target on their back.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you have a pulse, you can't help but get the chills here in the stadium. I'd imagine if you're watching at home, you feel that this is a big deal. New conference, big time expectations they haven't had here in quite some time, and they've got the deepest roster in quite some time.
Well, there's been a lot of talk, Yogi. This group thinks they can cash that check. A Big Ten championship, perhaps. They were preseason picked second in the league, and maybe beyond that, something they've never done before, a national title.
Well, we know the expansion of the playoff is going to help when you're in a more competitive schedule. Look who they have coming to this stadium, not only today, but it is challenge after challenge. And how do you meet that? Number one, you got to have the mindset. You got to have the DNA traits, as Dan Lanning says: connection, growth, toughness, and sacrifice. They have all of those in spades, and most importantly, they have competitive depth, and that's what they need.
Yogi might be referring to a game 6 weeks from now, but there's some work to do before then. They've got a quarterback, though, who knows how to handle a long road and big games.
Oh, he's a special player. I think he's truly got the it factor, which means he walks into a room and people feel Dylan Gabriel's presence, and he makes them better. Why? Because of his journey. This is a young man who was not recruited dramatically out of high school, coming out of Mililani High School in Hawaii. Thought he was going to go to one of the academies. Went to UCF, played well, had some ups and downs with injuries. Then he went to Oklahoma, balled out. Didn't love his draft grade, said, I want to play again. He had that COVID year. Now he's here. But he doesn't have 2 years. He doesn't even have 12 months. He has endeared himself to this team. This roster has fallen in love with him, and I think he is truly one of the elite players in the country at quarterback.
That means he and his coach, Dan Lanning, had to hit overdrive to build the trust, something Dan Lanning has done here. And for more on that, the third member of our broadcast team, Red Lewis, on the field.
Fellas, fired up to be with you here from Tracktown, USA, which, of course, now resides inside Big Ten country. Oregon, synonymous with speed. Guys like LaMichael James and DeAnthony Thomas are famous for fast. In fact, it was Thomas who influenced stud tight end Terrence Ferguson's decision to come here and play at Oregon. Well, that in the uniforms. But now Ferg is focused on physicality and improving it, a theme that has permeated throughout Dan Lanning's tenure here at Oregon and catches the eye of anyone who comes into this program, like transfer cornerback Jabbar Muhammad, who called this the most physical and toughest fall camp he's ever been a part of. So yeah, these Ducks can absolutely fly. But Guy, Yogi, you put them to conflict, fight or flight, and they're out to prove they can pack a punch too.
Brett's in an echo chamber down there. It is loud. Dan Lanning and his group will start on defense. Idaho won the toss, and they elected to take the football.
Well, look, they're going to be aggressive. just like Dan Lanning, same deal with Jason Eck at Idaho. They've been on these big stages against Power 4, Power 5 teams since he took over. They are not shook in this regard.
That's one of the most dangerous men in college football right there. Abraham Williams, he has 5 100-yard returns for touchdowns in his career. Transfer from Weber State. Atticus Sappington, a transfer from Oregon State, is going to kick it off. And a new era underway here in Eugene. No return. 25-yard line for the Idaho offense. And what about this for young Jack Lane, making just his 3rd career start, the former Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Oregon. There he is wearing number 2 right in the middle of a place he loves being in the middle of. He grew up a hardcore Oregon Ducks fan. He and his family, his brothers, his dad used to come to every Oregon home opener from Lake Oswego up in the Portland area.
Absolutely thrilled to be here as a player. He told us he didn't have a huge chip on his shoulder not being recruited by the Ducks. If you ever competed in anything, you know you want to prove your worth in front of your home state.
Idaho, the 7th ranked team in the FCS level of football, to enter this season back-to-back playoff appearances as Eli Cummings, their star running back, catches the ball for a short game.
Just look at his hands. How about that, Jack Lane? He's saying, calm down. And he's probably talking to himself as well. Look, this place is juiced. It is a big deal. There's a ton of hype and expectations. He's got to make sure he controls his mind because this offense runs through his decisions pre-snap and post-snap at QB.
Going up against what was one of the best defenses in the nation last year and added some star power in the portal. He's going to give it to Cummings on 2nd down, and he's swarmed and brought down by that big Oregon front. Tatum Tuioti, the star sophomore, was there along with Kobe Savage, the newcomer.
This defensive line has depth in all caps. They got 10 second-year players led by Tuioti and Mateo Uyunglele, but keep an eye on number 1, Jordan Burke.
3rd down and 8. Lane throws it into space and nobody there. A disheveled first possession for Idaho.
Defensive front is so active, led by Birch. Just getting off the ball. It was a huge point of emphasis. And you look at one of those first-year players in Jabbar Muhammad, the transfer from Washington, one of the leading corners in the country.
Played in a national championship game last year, and now after the 3-and-out to start, L.J. Harm is on to punt it away to the star receiver Tez Johnson. Man, Johnson gets pulled around and brought down. Good coverage there from Dwayne McDougal after a punt of 38 yards. And so we talk so much about Dillon Gabriel, the moment that this is for him, his 6th year as a college football player, getting the chance to work with Will Stein, the offensive coordinator, in his 2nd year for Oregon. And tonight he makes his 50th start of his career. He's chasing a record held by former Oregon quarterback Bo Nix. If he starts every game, he'll go down as the most experienced quarterback in college football history.
He knows the shoes he has to fill, but he's so comfortable in the ones that he wears.
Jordan James gets the first touch of the season and patiently makes it a 6-yard gain.
Jordan James up the middle, carries to the 34.
Well, they've lost a lot of productivity. Talk about Bo Nix. How about at running back? How about wide receiver? Bucky Irving was one of their key backs. Here comes James.
Gabriel swings it out to him into space, a first down, and he's across the 40, nearly to the 45. Abraham Williams, the tackle after a pickup of 11.
It's fun to watch the tempo throughout this ball game and just the weapons for Dillon Gabriel. Wideouts, tight ends, running backs out of the backfield. I mean, it's like a video game, and the challenge for Will Stein in this offense is playing efficient.
Jakari Larman is down, the starting defensive lineman for Idaho, after the first down by the Ducks, and will step aside here in the midst of Oregon's first possession. Ja'Cory Larman was able to jog off the field, which was good after he was down for Idaho. Let's take a look at today's Impact Players, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple, human sense.
We got to talk about Tez Johnson. Burst onto the national scene a year ago, transferred from Troy. He is now that guy. And then how about Jackson Eck, the head coach's son at middle linebacker, the communicator for this defense.
So after the stoppage for the injury, first down for Dillon Gabriel. And he checks it down to Terrence Ferguson, the star tight end, who weaves his way for another first down.
Watch Josh Connolly, your left tackle right here. Watch him get out in space. He's so athletic. 2 steps, waits, and then you see how Ferguson behind the line of scrimmage. It allows the offensive lineman to get downfield. Body on a body, and away they go.
Oregon using the helmet communications, which every college football team at the FBS level is using this year. Idaho, which is allowed to use it today if they wanted, they're not. Deep shot, Evan Stewart, and he overshoots the transfer from Texas A&M.
There was heat in Dillon Gabriel's kitchen, man. Just didn't pick up the blitz from James. Got right in his face, tries to put some air under it. Just missed him by about a foot. Evan Stewart there expecting big things. He's the replacement for Troy Franklin, who's now playing on Sundays. He's the first team all-conference wideout Oregon's had since 2010, so big shoes.
Matthias Bertram was there with the pressure. Gabriel, another quick one. This time it's Kenyon Sadiq, the true sophomore who they can't say enough good things about. I mean, could you love anybody more than Will Stein loves Kenyon Sadiq?
I don't know about that, but how about this 3 tight end personnel grouping? Sadiq, I love how he puts the ball in his left arm. This is a guy who grew up in Idaho, knows some of the players that he's playing against today. In fact, he even went to preschool with one of the players on the defense, and Keyshawn James Newby, #1.
Yeah, each team has a state player of the year from the other state, and Sadiq was the Idaho State Player of the Year in 2022. Gabriel to Noah Whittington. His first carry since he returned from injury. He was whistled down shy of the line to gain. He thought he was still up. He got hurt last year, week 4, serious knee injury, and Will Stein, the offensive coordinator, told us the last 2 weeks he's really starting to see him hit his stride.
Yeah, they've raved about the progression and the commitment he made under Dan Lanning just to get his body right. Look, it's hard when you're on a team with the amount of depth that Oregon has and you get injured. You could feel like you're just not a part of it. Dan Lanning's the #1 DNA trait, as we said to start the game, is connection. He stayed connected, and this young man stayed connected to the process.
3 tight ends in the game for Oregon here on second down. It's Whittington, and he gets immediately met and brought down by Keyshawn James Newby, one of the leading returners on what was a very good defensive line last year.
Well, he's a really talented player, transferred out of Montana Tech. He led their team in sacks. He's one of those guys that you look at and you talk to the staff, say he's got the frame to play at the next level. He keeps producing like he has thus far in this early drive. He'll have a shot.
That's Tez Johnson, who set an Oregon receiving record last year going in motion. And Gabriel's looking for him. His first catch of the year, and he spins out for a first down. 86 catches last season. His first year as a Duck, the adopted younger brother of Bo Nix, and he made a massive splash. Can he take another step is the big question.
Well, I think that he can. I think that he is so mission-minded. He knows where he came from. It has not been easy, but boy, has he proven to be not just a dynamic player a year ago, but now a leader for this receiving corps now.
4 completions to 4 different receivers for Gabriel here on the drive. Back to James, and he's met in the hole by Tommy McCormick, the captain safety for the Idaho Vandals.
Tommy McCormick is that quarterback of the defense on his way to med school. He was a 4-time state champion as a wrestler. That right there was as good of a takedown as you'll see. That was clinic worthy by the captain.
Red zone efficiency. This was one of the areas that Oregon is so dangerous with Johnson and Terrence Ferguson. It's Sadiq who takes it on the toss from Gabriel, breaks 1 tackle, and then gets spun down at the line of scrimmage. Tommy McCormick Doctor? Too early. Tommy McCormick there again.
How about the Oregon Ducks? 3 tight end personnel groupings. They've used that a few times. Idaho's basically been staying in their base defense now in the tight red zone. This is a critical down. What Oregon likes to do here, they'll have some shifts, some motions. They want it to be a clean picture for Dillon Gabriel.
Idaho trying to get the defense off the field. 3rd down, and the Ducks can pick up a 1st down shy of the goal line. Gabriel, Johnson, touchdown Oregon. New quarterback, same result. We got the swinging gate here, an old Oregon tradition. And Luke Dunn, the holder, is going to bring everybody in. Atticus Sappington, the transfer from Oregon State, on for the point after. And he's got it.
Off coverage. It's man to man. And this man, number 8, he is thrown to his favorite target. 1-5, Tez Johnson. Perfect location into the end zone. Autzen fired up. How about that? One of many for these two.
Seven 0 Oregon. Dominant first drive for Dillon Gabriel in his Ducks debut. Look at this, 6 of 7, 57 passing yards, 4 different receivers. So, hey, Hudson Card's record is still within reach today. He's got a shot.
What a day by him, and what a start by Dillon Gabriel.
Hudson Card today just 1 incompletion, which tied the completion percentage record with a minimum of 20 attempts for Purdue today.
Oh, Graham Harrell will be dissecting that one incompletion.
Abraham Williams, very dangerous, is back deep again. Did not get a chance to return it from Atticus Sappington to open the game, and he won't get a chance again. Take a look back at the touchdown, Yogi.
Oh, this is a great job by Evan Stewart. Watch him right here at the wide receiver position. He's going to run a little bit of a slant. He's going to take the high angle and get right in the way of the DB. Look, it's not a rub. He tries to avoid the defender. That's how the rule works. Perfect execution. Nice little assist. Here's another look. Opens up Tez Johnson. Slant. Out route. That's an old West Coast offensive principle, and that's what this offense under Will Stein is based in. That would light up all the old Niner fans, led by Bill Walsh from back in the day.
So has Idaho been able to catch its breath on offense after a 3-and-out to start the game? They go to Eli Cummings here, and he gets swallowed up by Jeffrey Bassa, the leader of the Oregon defense, the Fiesta Bowl MVP, the man that seems that they trust to answer for everybody.
Yeah, and look, he trusts this program too, and he came back for a reason. See him limping a little bit there. Hope he is okay. He's the alpha of this team. He told us he thought about going to the NFL, but once Oregon entered the Big Ten, he wanted to prove that he could play linebacker in this league at a premier level. He has so far.
He's got the green dot on his helmet here on 2nd down and 8. It's Alex Moore, the tight end, that goes in motion. Lane under pressure, and he gets sacked. Jordan Birch with his first sack of the year.
One of the biggest questions, guy, coming into this season is who's going to be the game record. To the left of the screen, watch him work and work and work against Aiden Kanapik, who's somebody they really are high on at Idaho at the left tackle position, and that was all effort, power, strength from the transfer from South Carolina.
How about Tatum Tuioti coming off the edge, 44. 3rd down and 11. And it's Cummings. Delayed, but only a couple yards. Not fooled as that Oregon defense. Devin Jackson up there to help make the stop, along with the transfer, along with Derek Harmon. You know, there's so many linebackers on this defense.
Yeah, this defense, again, it just has competitive depth, the depth that it hasn't had in my 20 years covering this team. That's why I think they're a true contender for everything on the table this season.
Dan Lanning, one of two, make that 38-year-old coaches in this league. Sharon Moore and Ryan Walters the other two. Harm's second punt of the game, and Tez Johnson will fair catch it. A flag is back down behind the line of scrimmage.
Ducks take over there, 1st and 10.
We'll get to meet our referee Jim Wary for the first time today.
Illegal formation, kicking team.
Trying to get Dan Lanning's attention.
Illegal formation, kicking team. 5 players in the backfield. Oregon is elected to reinforce the 5 yards of the previous spot. 4th down.
So Oregon wants Idaho to punt again.
Yeah, it's the right move. Anytime you get a team to kick it again, you're hoping their coverage unit is a little gassed. Give yourself a chance for a big return. They have an explosive group on special teams at the return position. Tez Johnson made noise last year trying to get loose again.
Dan Lanning is not one of those coaches, Yogi, that dismisses special teams.
No, they know how critical it can be. And look, this is a game of inches. When you're talking about the premier teams in the country, it's going to be so tight. And this team challenged themselves to make a great first impression on the season, which means no unforced errors, no foolish penalties. Make the other team truly earn it.
How about their leading receiver being the punt returner? Tez Johnson back again, looking for a chance. Already has a touchdown today. Harm standing on his own 6-yard line. Another fair catch waved for, and that is going to bounce out of bounds inside the 45, so beneficial for the Ducks to have Idaho repunt. $7-0 Oregon leading Idaho. Get ready for their second possession. It's time for Stay in the Game, sponsored by Hampton by Hilton. Hilton, here for the stay.
Okay, so for Idaho, they have to handle the tempo and move. Did a nice job, I thought, in that first drive. Oregon really had to earn it. And for the Ducks, they got to keep it clean. And a big part is their center. They're starting Charlie Pickard. He's a walk-on. He's local out of Portland, Oregon. He's the backbone of that offensive front. Dream come true for him to lead this team on the offensive line.
Jordan James to take it. And he slips down shy of midfield. Jackson Eck, the son of the head coach, the star linebacker, Jason Eck, in his 4th season. There's your guy, Charlie Pickard. What a moment this must be for him. Gabriel goes down. James Newby with the sack.
Newby's had a nice start here alongside Dallas Afalava. Coming off the edge, a little twist. He kind of gets bumped by Herbert, finds his way into the backfield, right into the lap of Dylan Gabriel. Look, on the offensive line, you got to communicate as movement and twists and stunts are happening. Nice win there for that defense.
And now Idaho puts Oregon in a 3rd down and 10 after a 6-yard loss. Pressure coming. Gabriel gets it out, and it's knocked away. Kyron Beecham was able to deflect it after Isaiah King brought the pressure. Dan Jackson's first year as the defensive coordinator. He did think when we talked to him this week they could bring the heat.
Well, they want to bring the heat and then change the picture late. You see him coming down right there. He sees it, reads it the whole time. Former wide receiver doesn't make the play. Could have been a huge pick 6 opportunity. But nonetheless, a big stop after that opening drive for a touchdown.
And Gabriel got hit on the left hand by that blitzer, King, or maybe the lineman falling into him, but you can see him there shaking it as Ross James comes on to punt it away. Jordan Dwyer's back deep, and A stoppage.
Timeout, Oregon. First to the half. Full timeout.
So we'll step aside. 5:01 remaining here in the first as they check on Dillon Gabriel. Idaho set to get the ball.
Welcome back. That's Dillon Gabriel next to Will Stein. Let's take a look at that third down snap. We're taking a look at his hand. As he makes the throw, looks like he hits Isaiah King's helmet right there. I don't know if it's his pinky or his ring finger, but that is a scary moment for him, Oregon Duck fans, because look, when quarterbacks are throwing, there's so much momentum with your finger, with your arm. Hope he's all right.
Dan Lanning used the timeout there before the punt. Ross James sends it back to Dwyer, who fair catches it at the 6-yard line. And let's take a look at today's impact players. Well, the Idaho Vandals, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance, simple human sense.
Well, look, here's the deal. For Idaho to create an upset, to get in this matchup here, they got to create some explosive plays. Michael Graves is that deep threat. They think he has elite speed, and we've talked about Jordan Birch possibly being that guy, and Jeffrey Bassa as well. They are two big-time catalysts for this defense. Right now at linebacker, we're getting our first look here, guy. Justin Jacobs is in at the inside backer position. So Bassa out.
The transfer from Iowa. Also Tyler Turner, number 19, is playing at safety in place of Tysheen Johnson, it appears. Here's Lane over the middle to Dwyer. And some breathing room for the Vandals, their first down of the game. That's the star that they have circled. Number 6 right there, Dwyer.
Yeah, there's a twist right in front of him. Dwyer recognizes a little hole in the defense. And look, his unique trait, every quarterback has one, it's shoulders and above. Understanding where defenders align and then where they're going to displace to. He knew exactly where to go with the rock.
Lane sets up the screen nicely to Nate Thomas, and Thomas breaks across the 35, and back-to-back Idaho first downs.
How about this offensive line? Nice job on the screen. Jack Foster, the right tackle, doing a nice job. How about Charlie Velam, the right guard inside? He's all over Jeffrey Bassa, the linebacker. They feel good about these guys up front. How about this guy? 3 former walk-ons starting on the offensive line for the Vandals,
including the center, Caden Robnett. So after 2 3-and-outs to start this game, back-to-back first downs for the Vandals. Lane with time until he doesn't have it. Ball came out, looked like he got it back. Sacked by Mateo Uyunglele off the blind side.
This is a coverage sack. It's also an effort sack. How about at the top of the screen? Mateo Uyunglele just wins the one-on-one battle. And how about the coverage? It's open here. Watch receiver 1, receiver 2. They're going to run right into each other. It's wide open here, guy. There's a chance for that explosive play. They collide. Lane has to hold on to it. Sack cause fumble from Uyunglele.
The younger brother, of course, of Florida State quarterback DJ Uyunglele, who played a lot as a true freshman last year. 2nd and 15. Lane. And Mark Hamper doesn't make the catch, and even if he had nowhere to go. Kobe Savage, the transfer from Kansas State, all over that.
Yeah, well, it was because of Jordan Birch. Look, this guy, his impact has been felt in the backfield all game long. Just penetration, snap after snap. He was the question mark. Who's he going to be this year? Made his presence felt early on in this one.
Bassa getting the call in the headset, disseminating it to his teammates here before this 3rd and 15. 3-man rush. They check it down to Alex Moore, the tight end, and he gets out across the 40 to the 42-yard line, a pickup of 7, but they're still 6 yards short of the line to gain. They'll make that 8 yards short. And here comes the punt team. Third punt of the game for LJ Harm, with Tez Johnson back deep again. And now Idaho is going to use its first timeout.
Timeout, Idaho. Their first of the half.
Jason Eck
30-second timeout.
didn't like something. We'll step aside. Punt coming up. Next Saturday, Big Ten Tailgate is live from Penn State's campus to set the scene for a full day of football. The fun begins at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. L.J. Harm punting away to Tez Johnson. That's the home opener for Penn State, coming off a big win over West Virginia, of course. Dylan Gabriel went off the last series shaking that left finger, that left hand, maybe the index, maybe the pinky. That's his throwing hand, Yogi. And we'll see if he comes back out with the Ducks, and he does.
Where that really affects you as a quarterback guy is the deep balls, the distance. Can you control those deep ends, those digs? Look at him on the record, just climbing up the ranks here too, man.
Already with the touchdown today to pass Bo Nix and tie Baker Mayfield for the most all-time. He's going to hand it to Noah Whittington, who slips 2 tacklers on first down.
Noah Whittington on the carry.
So much about coming back from an injury is trusting your body. Watch him make these cuts. There's one. Watch put that right foot in the ground. Bam. 2. He's so eager to get back on this field and be one of the catalysts for this team.
It's been a 2-back system, it feels like forever. On second down, he gets swallowed up by Zach Kreutzer, who's fired up. This is a big deal, right? If you're Idaho, you've played on the biggest stages. They were in the FCS playoffs last year, one of the best teams at the FCS level. Here they're playing the number 3 team in the country.
Yeah, and they wanted to cut it loose. And I think when you are the dramatic underdog, especially not even at the same level in college football, you're saying, oh, we got nothing to lose. And they're not playing tight. They're playing with great emotion. And they have had success against Power 4 teams in their past.
3rd down and 5. Good protection this time. And there's Kyle Casper with his 4th career catch. And a 3rd down conversion.
How about sitting in the pocket for Dylan Gabriel? His offensive line's a little bit in his lap. And how about this route? Corner route thrown behind him, opens up his hips. Beautiful grab, and he's got such a big frame at 6'6". High points the ball, tucks it away from pressure.
Flag down. Gabriel over the middle to Terrence Ferguson, makes it look easy. For the first down, we'll check on the penalty.
Illegal formation. 5 players in the backfield. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Johnny Cornelius, the right tackle.
Talked about some keys to the game earlier. Big part is no unforced errors. He's an All-American candidate. He's one of the best tackles in America guy. Uncommon for him to have a penalty like that. But just a reminder, hey, you got to make sure that you're aligned.
As the first quarter comes to a close, Dylan Gabriel will let the clock run out. And so a 1st and 15 coming up.
That's the end of the first quarter.
For Oregon, after 1 quarter of football here in Eugene. And Eugene is living up to everything you ever heard about it today. Just about ready for the second quarter. Rhett Lewis down on the field just caught up with Dan Lanning a moment ago. Rhett, what did he tell you?
Well, I was asking him about the completions, the 5 different receivers so far in this Oregon offense, and the way that Dylan Gabriel's been spreading the ball around. Said he loves the way that Dylan is operating right now, but they want to get some better blocking downfield, want to get some bodies on bodies to create and turn those completions into explosives.
This offense is at its best when it's leaning on you and then can bust one. They've leaned on Idaho a little bit, but they have not found that explosive play.
1st and 15, first play out of the pistol today, and they flip it to Tez Johnson for 4 yards back. It'll bring up 2nd and 11.
Nice tackle there again by Jackson Eck, son of the head coach, an absolute gym rat, always in the facility. Said, I thought about going to play for my dad. Not really sure about it. Then he said, yeah, well, he's an offensive guy. I'm going defense. Let's let it roll.
Born in Moscow, and once Dad went to his birthplace to coach, he thought it was a perfect fit. Dillon Gabriel cuts it loose, threads the needle, and it's complete. Trayshawn Holden.
This is gradual level right over the fingertips of Zach Johnson right there, not even touched. Perfect location. Yeah, I think that hand's pretty good. What do you think?
I think so. That was a tight spiral. Holden, who had career highs last year after transferring from Alabama. It's his second year at Oregon. Gabriel, good pocket. And that's the running back, Jordan James, in traffic with the catch.
The discipline of that route is paramount. You can't, we see a flag, you can't cut that route short.
Illegal formation. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's 2 now on Cornelius for not being on the line of scrimmage.
Let's take a look. He's right there at the right tackle position. Look, the ref's staring right at it. Second one, to your point. Now you just got to check. You see him kind of looking over a little bit just to make sure. He's next to his guard, looks at the official. Are we good?
It wipes out a first down catch, makes it 1st and 15. Here's James. Plenty of blockers. He's able to mosey his way for almost 5 yards. It'll bring up 2nd and 10.
This fringe red zone area. Keep an eye on the tight end group. Right now, Terrence Ferguson, number 3. This is where he has been absolutely lethal. There he is right there in the slot. Such a matchup issue.
Now he moves. Gabriel swings it. Gets the block from Ferguson. Tez Johnson going the wrong way, and he loses 4 yards, and now it's 3rd and long. Matthias Bertram had that blown up.
Yeah, this defense is pretty impressive, flying to the football. They're trying to change looks just a little bit post-snap. They're just playing sound football, right? They're not getting outnumbered in gaps. You see 6 Idaho Vandal jerseys around the ball.
Plenty of time on the play clock here for Gabriel, reorganizing on 3rd down and long. Just a 4-man pressure, and it's through the hands of James, the sure-handed back, who just made a spectacular catch that was wiped out by penalty, and now it's 4th down. You keeping the offense on the field here, Yogi?
Let's take a look at how they change pressure. Watch right here, okay? Pre-snap, looks like he's going into coverage. As the snap happens, bring pressure. Got to throw it early, no problem for the defense.
Offense still out there, and Idaho is forced to use its 2nd timeout.
Timeout.
Before
Idaho,
a 4th and 14.
Second of the half. Timeout on the field.
They really lining up for this? We'll find out. Yeah. Answers coming. Experience the expanded Big Ten Conference like never before with Big Ten Plus. Stream thousands of non-televised live events across the Big Ten. Plus, enjoy next day game replays for every Big Ten game. Subscribe right now at BigTenPlus.com. The offense has come off the field. The kicking team has come on the field. Atticus Sappington lining up for a 51-yarder, maybe a 52-yarder. His career long at Oregon State was 48. His first field goal attempt as a Duck is no good. Boy, he had plenty of leg. And it stays 7-0. Idaho defense wins that possession.
They played really sound on that series. Take another look at the field goal. Good hold, good snap. To your point, definitely enough leg, just a bit outside.
So now Oregon back to defense with 12 minutes remaining here in the 2nd quarter. They have been dominant. 3 and outs to start the game back-to-back.
Defensive front's gotten after it. I really like this linebacking core. How about Devin Jackson in there right now? Might be the fastest linebacker in America. Sideline to sideline.
Jack Lane, who started 4 of 6, down the sideline, underthrows Dwyer, and that gets a flag. Boy, Kobe Savage was just stuck on the underthrow, and that created the pass interference. Dwyer was there.
Really good play design. Fake like they're going to throw the bubble.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 19. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
I said Savage. That was Turner, who's starting today at safety.
Yeah, underthrown ball. Always taught us a wider to jump back in. There's a chance for a huge play. And any times there's contact and the DB doesn't look back, that's going to be called. Tyler Turner, the redshirt freshman. That's one you learn about in real live moments.
So that creates the 1st and 10 near midfield. Eli Cummings breaks across midfield for the first time today, and he finally gets pushed out of bounds by Jabbar Mohammed after a gain of 23 yards.
Eli Cummings, really talented player. Watch him stay square to the line of scrimmage. He gets the ball square, square, square. That allows him to explode and burst to the perimeter. Look, Idaho came into this game thinking they would have success in perimeter runs at the edges. Haven't had a lot of them. That's the first one, but here comes some momentum from the underdog.
Crowd trying to get back into this possession as Blake Purchase comes onto the field defensively. Lane for Hamper, and he can't bring it down. He was squeezed by Nico Reed and Kobe Savage.
Great matchup. I mean, from the jump. We know Oregon's secondary, they're going to play aggressive man coverage. Kind of loses his feet there late. Stumbling due to the contact. Look, they got a PI on this drive, but that's the second opportunity they've had for a big explosive play. One turns into 15 yards on the penalty. This one turns into 2nd and 10.
A big, huge target. Mike Martinez just went in motion as he sets up the block for Eli Cummings, who gets stood up and then keeps driving to pick up 2 more yards. A powerful run.
Pretty impressive block, too. Mike Martinez, one time started a tight end at UCLA. He's had a roundabout journey to get here to Idaho. On what looked like his first snap of the game, made a nice little impact here on 3rd down.
3rd and 5. Idaho flirting with the red zone. They're 0 for 3 on 3rd down so far today. Lane throws, and it's picked off. Brandon Johnson. The transfer from Duke making an immediate impact.
They run the same exact play that got a PI earlier, and that is battling for the ball and turning to see it. On the PI, Turner never looked. On the pick, we look at the transfer. His eyes completely turned. How about the ball skills? True possession. Does he have it? He's got it. He's in. And we got some juice in Austin.
Brandon Johnson in part represents the Modern Family in homage to Ty Burrell, the actor and Duck superfan. They're all riding around in Dylan Gabriel's van. This is part of college football, right? Immediate impact from the transfer portal. And Brandon Johnson joins the list with Kobe Savage and Derek Harmon, Evan Stewart, Jabbar Mohammed. Jamari Caldwell's they're on the way to pick him up in the van. Well, there's his first interception as a Duck after starting his career as a Blue Devil. Jordan James. That's the first rushing first down for the Ducks today. But how about that Modern Family?
That's so good. So good. As is this patience. Look, like he's going to fall, and then he just squeezes right through. for the first down. And that's kind of modern football now, too. You can get some elite players from different places.
James churning. It was fun talking to Will Stein, the offensive coordinator. Everything, he used every adjective you would take out of the dictionary, right? He said angry, violent, a protector, a catcher. Jordan James, he thinks, is maybe the most underrated back in the country.
Yeah, and he's a leader of this team. When we talked to Dan Lanning, he said, look, he doesn't have to be that vocal guy. He's so well respected for the way he just works. You watch him run, he's going to start getting a lot of that respect around the country as a back.
He was over 7 yards a carry last year to lead the Pac-12, and here he is just sliding his way for a first down.
Another one, just following the block of Patrick Herbert. I just think that he really understands the path you need to take as a back. Here comes Herbert kind of leading the way, and watch him, he just gets in his hip pocket. He knows the angles. Nice job of finding a crease. At back, you got to be patient. You can't be in a hurry, and you got to know when to go. He's got all three.
He's 6 yards a carry so far in this game. Gabriel stepping up and fires complete. Kenyon Sadiq, his second catch of the day, breaks a tackle and gets down near the 30-yard line. That's a pickup of 26.
It's a great route, getting to the proper depth. And how about Dylan Gabriel? He wants to go to his right. Watch him take that deep drop, and then as he climbs the pocket, it's a clean picture. Perfect strike to Kenyon Sadiq.
He had 5 catches all of last year, did Sadiq. 2 already today for the true sophomore. And a quick pass to Tez Johnson. He's got blocking in front. Johnson gets upended inside the 15 by Tommy McCormick. They'll get him the ball every which way. He's got a pickup of 18.
Man, I love the blocking of this group as they hurry up to get to the line of scrimmage. Patrick Herbert again springing somebody on the perimeter.
Gabriel, all the time in the world to connect with Patrick Herbert. His first catch today, and he's down to the 6.
This is an area of growth for Dylan Gabriel. Watch him work his progression. 1 to the back, 2 to the tight end, 3 to backside out the back door. That's really the area where he has grown a lot in this system. This is not an air raid system, guy. This is based in NFL principles, West Coast offenses. You have to be able to go through your progressions. Clinic right there on that snap.
Gabriel, back shoulder. Stewart couldn't bring it in. Good coverage there from Andrew Marshall.
Crowd wanted a little contact. The whole thing that officials are looking for, are you impeded on your way to catch the ball? It looked like that left arm was.
The second time he's taken a shot to Stewart in the end zone so far today. So now it's 3rd and 2. Two tight ends in the game. And with the play clock low, Oregon has to use its second timeout. So a 3rd and 2 in the red zone coming up for the Ducks in a 7-0 game. Football on the Big Ten Network is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton. We had a fun day yesterday riding around in Dylan Gabriel's van. Not a sports car, not an Escalade. He's using his NIL deal for a minivan. And we'll show you more of that ride yesterday. That was great.
Oh, took us around. Beautiful.
3rd down here after the timeout. They bring the fullback into the game for the first down to clear the path for Jordan James. Zach Grace, his first appearance, and he's the first one to greet James. A fullback? Isn't this 2024?
Rich Brooks is fired up.
James, who had 12 touchdowns rushing last year, is taking that ball with him. As Atticus Sappington lines up for the point after. Luke Dunn, the holder. Luke Basso, the long snapper.
At point after.
And it's good.
There's a lot of things you look at when you're preparing against the Oregon Ducks under Dan Lanning. There is not a category that has a fullback in. You see right there. How about Zach Grace leading the way? Kick out block. Touchdown Ducks. Mighty Oregon. Mighty I formation. What do you think about that here in Autzen Stadium? Yeah, get the push-ups going. Let's go.
Oh, the Ducks got his new hat. The Big Ten hat comes out after the I formation. I mean,
that's on cue. Look, it's been a theme, right? Jared DiNardo and the crew has talked about it a lot on the studio shows, all training camp. Can this team win in the trenches? Is the Big Ten more physical in the trenches? You know the reputation of that league. As Dan Lanning says and has said many times, this team is built to win, and they're built from the inside out. And now they're built with a fullback on their depth chart. That's about as Big Ten as you can get, man.
Zach Grace is from Missouri, the redshirt freshman who blocked his way for that touchdown for Jordan James. Abraham Williams still will not have a return yet in this game, and let's go down to red.
Yeah, guys, physicality is probably the second most used word in this program behind connection, and you see it in fall camp. They talk about that mod bracket drill where they use a lot of that physicality, and Dan Lanning had said that I'm going to get back to you here in a moment.
We're looking at Dan Lanning as we check on this
Number
flag.
31 of the kicking team. 5 yards will be added. Next spot, first down.
Yes, Dan Lanning said he went back and watched some of the clips from that mod bracket drill from when he first got here, and it looks like a totally different team, right? Jeffrey Bassa even said, the linebacker, that couldn't believe they looked like that 3 years ago compared to what they're doing now. This team is prepared for the physicality of the Big Ten.
Yeah, Red, you nailed that point. You go back to Dan Lanning's first game, they had so many missed tackles, 29 against Georgia in that opener. Not many missed now.
Jack Wagner, the mobile quarterback, has come into the game for Idaho, and he flips it on the end around. As we take a look back at Jack Wagner, now he's going to jog off.
Williams on the run
They
around.
brought him out because they were bringing on Abraham Williams, who's on defense. He wears number 2, the same number as Jack Lane. He just took that end around. So Williams is an explosive player, a track star, but they can't have him and Lane on the field at the same time. So that's why they just took Lane off and Wagner on. All right. The right idea, right? Williams has not been able to return a kick yet. That's his thing. So now here's Nate Thomas turning the corner and picking up the first down.
Nice run there by Thomas, outrunning Jordan Burks. We're just getting back to Jack Wagner. Not only do you see him on that snap, but they have a package for him. They want to utilize a little bit of QB run, so don't be shocked if we see him throughout this game. And this is a drive that I'd imagine Idaho, with under 6 minutes to go in the half, they're trying to use as much clock as possible as Oregon will get the rock to kick off the third quarter.
Luke Schleissner, the offensive coordinator for Idaho, has coordinated some really explosive offenses. And he's 3 years with the Vandals. Here's Lane on the move. Lane's going to tuck it, and Lane's going to get out near midfield before he's pushed out of bounds. A pickup of 6 yards. Dylan Williams there to help him out.
So much of Jack Lane's game is coming from the huddle, getting the snap, and then trying to dissect the defense. And I think because the interior pressure has been really successful for Oregon, they're trying to get him on the perimeter a little bit, get him on the edges, on the move in the passing game.
Idaho's had some offensive possessions that showed promise. The last one ended with an interception in the end zone as Lane just gets that ball away. Uyunglele was bearing down on him, and he knew that there was nothing for Nate Thomas to do. with the ball.
Yeah, absolutely nothing doing there. I think the biggest thing we talked about, as you see, is the numbers for Idaho. Started struggling, had some success, but they've got to find some conversions, right? There are opportunities in these games. Jason Eck and their entire staff, they know they've got to capitalize on them. This third down is one of them. Can they get Jordan Dwyer in the mix?
Two backs in the game, bookending the quarterback lane. Under some heat, and he flicks it incomplete for Tony Harsty, just out of his reach of what would have been a spectacular conversion.
Nice job of climbing the pocket, trying to do something, but you'll see the speed coming right at you, right there. Watch linebacker Devin Jackson as the play unfolds. This is the fastest linebacker in America. He's on him, tries to make something out of nothing. Lucky there wasn't a turnover there for the Vandals.
And so now they'll punt away again. L.J. Harm comes out, and Tez Johnson is staring into the sun to return it. He's got his hand over his eyes. Everybody loves a 4:30 kickoff except the punt returner. And this one is kind of worming its way down to the 9. Johnson makes a man miss, but ends up going backwards. And Oregon will take over at the 7-yard line. Tuesday, it's a can't-miss top 10 women's volleyball matchup when Penn State takes on Louisville. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Dillon Gabriel, we said it off the top, so much of what he does is history, including this. He's now eclipsed the 15,000-yard mark for career passing yards. This is the list he joins. This is all time. This is everybody that's done it.
It's amazing, and about 80% of that list were not huge recruits, him included. When they got to their institution of choice, they just went to work. He's continued that.
There's Terrence Ferguson, and he gets the Ducks out of the shadow of their end zone. Jackson Eck eventually with the tackle after a pickup of 14.
Nice job, Tez Johnson kicking it off. The motion clears out a huge area. That is simple pitch and catch.
Noah Whittington gets the handoff here after Jordan James had the touchdown run on the last drive, and he gets ripped down after a pickup of 6.
Okay, so you hear about this all the time. The middle 8, right? The last 4 minutes of the first half, the first 4 of the second. Oregon is as good as anybody in America in scoring and or taking the ball away in this moment of the game.
You take a look at tonight's advanced stat. That's it right there, sponsored by ifs.ai. The middle 8 as Tez Johnson gets out across the 35, and they're going to get the ball first to start the second half. Yogi, why are they so good at it?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the efficiency, because you could really make life challenging if you can get 2 scores within the final 4 and then the first 4 of the second half. It's just demoralizing to an opponent, and that's where Dan Lanning and his team has really been masterful since he's taken the job in the last 2 years under Bo Nix, of understanding time, score, situation. Right now they want to use every second, get a score, see if they get another one, and they kick it off in the 3rd.
Gabriel for Whittington. Whittington makes Bertram miss, but Jackson Eck is right there to clean it up. Just a pickup of 2, the sophomore linebacker making sure it went nowhere.
Now, I'll say one of the biggest things that have stood out in the first half from Idaho is they do not have many unforced errors defensively. I mean, there's been, 2 guys that have been wide open on plays down the field. Jason Eck, a heck of a coach. He has done masterful things in turning this program around. He felt like it could be a powerhouse. They are playing sound football.
7th year back at the FCS level for Idaho, and it's been a great success under Eck. Terrence Ferguson across midfield. A pickup of 17 yards. Gabriel is 17 of 21 passing right now.
This is really fun. And watch the play unfold. You'll see something at the very end will light up anybody who does West Coast offense. Look at that triangle. It's so good. within the West Coast scheme. That's what you want to give your quarterback. Can you give him options with triangles so he can look 1 to 2 to 3, very efficient.
Timeout.
This is new in college football this year. If you've been watching this weekend, you've noticed it. You know the 2-minute warning in the NFL. We've got the 2-minute timeout in college football this year. And so we've got a stoppage with the Ducks on the march, trying to punch one in before the half. 14-0 Ducks here with 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Coming up, stick around for the DirecTV halftime report. Dave Revson, Ashley Adamson, Brock Farina, Marcel Reese take you through the first half highlights and get you up to speed on a busy Saturday across the Big Ten. That's next on the DirecTV halftime report. Second down and 10 here for Oregon. Gabriel checks it down to the back. Noah Whittington. Whittington slips away, leaps over a man, and he's near a first down.
There's so much in every play, right? The athleticism is just phenomenal. Watch this at the end. Whittington, how excited must he be to be back? And the confidence to take that leap after everything he went through this past offseason after an injury early on in 2023.
It was week 4, September 23rd, that he had a pretty significant knee injury and able to make it back in less than a year. He got the first down, so it's 1st and 10. Gabriel right back to him. Whittington stays on the ground this time and gets another first down, 14 yards.
Look, experienced quarterbacks understand situational football. You're driving here. Nothing deep. Check the ball down. Get it out of your hands. Another first down. Now here we are in the fringe red zone area. You're thinking time. How many timeouts? We got one. Want to save it for a field goal. Take a shot. Touchdown. If not, check down.
Gabriel pressured. Ball comes out. And there's a scrum for it. He got clipped from behind by Keyshawn James Newby. And Idaho has the football.
Oregon recovered by Idaho.
Just as Oregon was rolling.
Please reset the game clock to 1:26. 1 minute, 26 seconds.
From James Newby. He has had a half.
Thank you.
He is just going to keep working and working and working. Cornelius, watch that left arm. The ball's a little low. Gabriel never feels it as he's climbing the pocket. I mean, this is the drill that every defensive end room in the country does. You're taking a swipe at the ball. Talk about momentum shift. And now what do you do if you're Jason Eck? I'm putting the gas down. I'm going to take a run here, see if we can convert one of these explosive plays. They don't have a pass over 20 yards.
Dallas Ofalava had the recovery. 126 and 1 timeout. That's the first lost fumble for Oregon since week 9 of last year. And there's Mark Hamper right at midfield. Almost a 20-yard catch. He goes for 19, Yogi.
Okay, now remember, clock stops on the first down. So now you really have to control here. And for Idaho, they don't have headset communication, so it's all signals.
Lane. Over the head of his back, Eli Cummings, who slipped and fell. And now they can take a breath on 2nd and 10.
And that's probably a good thing, right? Stop the clock. He would have been tackled in bounds for a small gain. Now you're getting your best plays. You're going, where do you really feel comfortable? If I'm Idaho, I'm finding Jordan Dwyer. He only got one grab. He needs to be the go-to guy. I would work in between the hashes.
There's Dwyer, who drew a big pass interference a couple series ago on 2nd down. Lane under pressure from Uyunglele and heaves it out of bounds.
It's a really nice job from Tosh Lupoy, the defensive coordinator. They come out in a front where they're not in traditional places. They're lined up all over. Look at the alignments, right? It's not what it normally looks like. You got Mateo Uyunglele playing over the guard, standing up, forcing that offensive front to communicate. Big win by that Oregon defensive line.
3rd down and 10. Here's Cummings weaving his way, and that's a good gain, a pickup of 8. It'll set up 4th down and 2. Remember, Oregon gets the ball first to start the second half, and so this is 4-down territory for Idaho.
Oregon does not utilize their timeout either, as the clock continues to tick, tick, tick. This is a tough spot if you're Idaho, right? You get this 1st down. You just allowed 15, 20 seconds to bleed off this clock here before the half.
But if you don't, Oregon gets it near midfield. Lane, deep shot, Harsty, and he can't bring it in. Great coverage from Brandon Johnson. Thumbs down.
They go to the true freshman coming from the slot, run the slot fade. We saw it earlier in the punt return right into the sun. There's some contact there. We've seen that call before. I think a freshman, he's going to learn from this because you got to jump back into the DB guy. You got to initiate a little bit of contact. He does that. We're talking about a 1st down inside the 15. They go to the youngster they're really high on, Harsty. I like the play call, taking a shot. That young receiver will learn from that.
So does Oregon try to make something happen here with 1 timeout and 19 seconds left in the half. Gabriel. There's James. He's got a 1st down. That'll stop the clock while they set it.
Okay, right now I'm going to work the slot. I'm going to find Terrence Ferguson. He's in the slot. Finding him right here.
And now Gabriel spikes it, and that leaves 8 seconds.
It's a concept that the Oregon Ducks love in these types of situations. Can you find your tight end down the seam? Then you'll have the opportunity, of course, to call that timeout. And a nice job by Dan Lanning saving that timeout on the 4th down.
That spike took 4 seconds. Remember, Sappington, the kicker, missed a 51-yarder earlier. Here's James trying to get to the sideline. He can't get there. They got to use a timeout. And the clock just hit 0, but I do believe they got the timeout before the clock expired.
Well, this is going to be interesting because here's Idaho saying, hey, we're going. And if I'm the coach, I'm saying go to the locker room.
There's 1 second remaining in the half. Timeout, Oregon, for 3rd and final.
Remember, Sappington kicked a 51-yarder. He missed it, but he had a lot of leg back in 30. This would be a 58-yarder, so with 1 second left, Oregon's going to keep the offense on the field. Idaho's defense looks like a marching band lined up in the red zone with only 3 pass rushers. Here's Kenyon Sadiq. And he gets pulled out to end the 1st half. So Oregon had some moments offensively. Dan Lanning's group looked like maybe at the end of the half they'd have a chance to pull away. But Idaho forced a turnover and stays down 14 at the break. Idaho will have to kick to Oregon to start the second half. Let's go down to Rhett with Dan Lanning.
All right, Coach, your defense answered the challenge in a couple of tough spots. What do you think of the way they answered the bell here?
Ultimately, I think we can play a whole lot better as a team. You know, we've had some good moments, but we've shot ourselves in the foot a few times. Got to play cleaner ball.
Got to get the ball to start the second half. What do you want to see from your offense?
Yeah, start fast. Start fast. Let's go move the ball. Let's do what we can do. Let's not shoot ourselves in the foot.
Coach, thank you.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate Dan Lanning's time. His offense will have the ball first, but as he said, he thinks they can get a lot more out of his group. It hasn't been the start they wanted. Everything else has been awesome here in Eugene. DirecTV halftime coming up after the break. Base of the foothills of the Cascade Range. The Big Ten debut for the Oregon Ducks. We got a stripe out. If those folks were expecting a blowout, it hasn't happened yet. Hi, welcome back. Yogi Roth Guy Haberman. At moments, they've looked like the #3 team in the nation, but it hasn't all come together yet.
No, I think the defense has done a pretty impressive job, has held Idaho 0 third down conversions, but just some unforced errors, some missed opportunities like that sack-caused fumble on that drive. You think they're about to score before the half. I'd imagine they'll clean things up. We've seen this around the country, right? This is a lot of what week 1 is. Can't wait to see these adjustments from Dan Lanning and his team.
This was the most prolific passing offense in the country last year with Bo Nix. Dillon Gabriel, you look what he's done. First half completions, 22. Seems like all these records he's matching and breaking just happen to have been set by Bo Nix.
Well, he's seeing the field real clean, and I think Will Stein's calling a really impressive game in terms of giving him a very clean picture. You're not seeing a ton of shifts or motions, giving him an opportunity to climb the pocket. He'll, of course, want that one back where the ball was a little low, and it ended up being a sack-caused fumble. But overall, solid job by one of the top quarterbacks in America in his Oregon debut.
Remember, Idaho won the toss to start the game and took the ball. So they are kicking away to the Ducks. And Oregon will start on offense to start this second half. And we'll go down to Rhett.
Yeah, guys, just had a chance to chat with Idaho head coach Jason Eck, who said his guys are battling their I'll let you guys finish that sentence, but he says he wants to see them get better on third down on both offense and defense. Really wants to see Jack Lane settle in a little bit, try to do too much at times. But how about Keyshawn Memby, talking about a player who just 2 years ago was playing NIA, 2 sacks. Coach Eck just told me in a tunnel that guy's going to be in an NFL camp next year. By the way, Jeff Bassa, who wasn't on the field for the entire half, did look like he was going to come back out here in a second.
There's Jackson Eck, the son of Jason Eck, making that stop, and Keyshawn James Newby, who Rhett mentioned, he's the one that had that big forced fumble that prevented this game from maybe becoming 21-0.
Look, this team wanted to come out aggressive. They were not going to come out scared. Check, check at halftime for the Vandals.
Gabriel patiently in the pocket, drops it down over the middle, a pickup of 5 yards for Trayshawn Holden, and he comes up in a little bit of pain. It's his second catch today.
I think a challenge if you are Oregon Ducks. Hope that Holden is all right. He's had such an impressive camp for them. True leader on this team, but I want to see this offensive line, right? The interior of this offensive line, Charlie Pickard. Remember the walk-on getting the start at center, Portland native.
That was a very hot first half, Yogi. Flags down, they blow this play dead. We're starting to get some shade here, but it was over 90 degrees today. The turf.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 76, 5-yard penalty, third down.
Well, that's Josh Connerly with the penalty, but the turf looked hot. You were down there pregame. Rhett has decided to go short sleeves today because of it. And you just wonder what toll that's taken here in an opener on both these teams.
Well, look, I think anytime you play in a competitive environment, the performance anxiety has risen. But this team practices in the heat. They practice in the afternoon training camp. They've been preparing for a moment like this. So for Dan Lanning and his staff, they're saying, look, guys, this is the environment. Let's just go execute.
So a third down here out of the locker room. Gabriel under pressure, and he goes down. Dallas Afalava, one of the best freshmen in the nation last year at the FCS level, an All-American performer, and he finishes off Gabriel, and Idaho comes out of the locker room at the half and forces a punt.
Keep an eye on Andrew Marshall. He's going to come from the left side of your screen right there at the safety spot. He gives some pressure. James has to go to him, get off his initial block, and there's the penetration. That's impressive from the defense, and that's what this defense wanted to do under Dan Jackson coming into this game. Change the picture late. That's the first time they've truly gotten home in that regard.
Ross James to punt it away to Andrew Marshall. This is hanging and takes a good Oregon bounce. And gets touchdown at the 36-yard line. Coming up, the Huskies kick off their season against Weber State. That's Big Ten football tonight at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. I've got a report from Seattle. It's going to be beautiful. The West Coast is showing off today.
Yeah, it is in the debut weekend, indeed.
Well, Rhett Lewis just told us about Jeffrey Bassa. We saw come up a little gimpy in the first half. And he is not out there to start this second half for the Ducks defense. He's the heart and soul of the thing. Jack Lane's going to hand it off to Nate Thomas. And the first man to get a hand on him was Jordan Birch. Short game.
I'd imagine if I was Idaho at halftime, I'm saying, hey guys, whether it was Washington State, whether it was Cal, whether it was Indiana, whether it was Nevada, we've played some of the big dogs in college football. Maybe not as big as the Oregon Ducks, but they've been confident. Now on this drive, they get a stop. Can they win the middle 8 battle here in the first 4 minutes of the third?
Jack Lane to the sideline, getting it quickly to his playmaker, Jordan Dwyer. That'll bring up third down. So no Bassa. We do see Tyshun Johnson out there for the Oregon defense in the second half. We saw a lot of Tyler Turner defensively in the first half. Turner had a pass interference, but there's Johnson, the second-year man who transferred from Ole Miss.
He's a really talented player. His range, his football IQ, he makes this defense better.
Idaho was 0 for 6 on third down in the first half. Pressure coming, and that blows up the pass to the tight end, Alex Moore. Brandon Johnson already has a pick today and is having one heck of a game in his Oregon debut.
The alignment of the defense just makes it so hard. Look at all these guys where they're lined up. You don't know which gap any defender is going to go through. They try to run that little screen. Johnson all over it. Birch has had his best game, or at least his best half in a drive as a Duck, and you feel him on every snap, guy.
LJ Harm will now punt for the 5th time. 4 first half punts to Tez Johnson in the first half. And Johnson still looking into the sun. And he takes that one backpedaling and then steps out after a fair catch at the 22-yard line. Eugene, Big Ten country. Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by State Farm and by Auto Owners Insurance. This is one of the jewels of what is a gorgeous football facility, athletic center. The Marcus Mariota Center, the Heisman Trophy is there, the Maxwell Award is there. It's a shrine to him. And that number 8, Dillon Gabriel, was hesitant to wear it, right? Marcus Mariota, like Dillon, from Hawaii, his idol growing up. Here's Jordan James through a gaping hole and out across the 35 and near the 40, a pickup of 18 yards.
Nice job. Here's just straight stretch play outside zone on a track, lighting a match off the back of his offensive line. Idaho's lucky that was not an absolute house call, as James is actually down on the field after that run.
So they're working on Jordan James, who's had a busy day. We'll step aside. Take a look at tonight's Quick Clips, brought to you by Sport Clips.
Well, this is all Jordan James. He does it a variety of ways, following his lead blocker, Mr. Patrick Herbert. How about for a touchdown, seeing a seam and hitting it? Then on the most recent play, just following that stretch concept, and his left tackle, good to see him jog off okay.
Flag down here. While we check this penalty, we'll just mention Jordan James did jog off after being down for an injury timeout.
False start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's Pancho Lalaulu, who's getting the start at right guard today. Matthew Bedford, the transfer from Indiana, injured, so Lalaulu moves over from center. 3 different offensive linemen have been penalized for Oregon now in this game. Kenyon Sadiq with his 5th touch of the day.
Let's keep going back to this Idaho defense, guy. They've just been playing really sound. Like, you don't see a lot of gaping holes. If I'm Oregon here, I might come on back to that stretch run game. I'd also go back to some of those triangle concepts we saw in the first half where it's an easy 1-2-3 read for Gabriel. I don't think he's missed one today.
He's hit 11 of his last 12 pass attempts. The only incompletion was the spike. That's the first catch of the day for Justice Lowe. In fact, that's Justice's first career catch.
Great to see Justice Lowe getting some play. He's really made a jump. He has continued to develop. Fun fact, of course, he and Jack Lane, the quarterback for Idaho, went to the same high school. Grew up playing catch with one another.
Yeah, they're good friends from Lake Oswego. That's the 9th different Duck with a catch today. Here's a 3rd and 7, Yogi. Some pressure coming. Gabriel gets it off to Evan Stewart, but he is thrown down shy of the line to gain. Physical play by Kyron Beecham. Dallas Alfalava was bringing the pressure, and the score stays 14-0.
Defensive line does a nice job. Again, they bring some pressure, and it forces Gabriel to hang on to the ball a little bit. I'm telling you, Andrew Marshall, he's bringing a little bit of heat right in that gap where he wants to throw the ball. He's got to hold it, allows the defender to get right on top of the wideout, forcing the 4th down.
So Ross James to punt. And it's a fake. Kenyon Sadiq on 4th and 13. Pardon me, 4th and 3, but he's short anyway. Abraham Williams, the tackle.
Turnover on downs.
Wow. And now they turn it over in their own territory.
Go back to the discipline of Jason X squad. They're ready for it. And then how about the tackle, to your point? Watch him sitting right here. Sees it, drive on it, keep your outside arm free. Nice job with the tackle, the wrap, and the roll. Huge play from number 2, Abraham Williams.
That was just one-on-one.
One-on-one. You got to make a play. And that's one of the better athletes in America. And I just go back. It's the ultimate team game, guy, and you have to be sound. Idaho has been that almost in totality since this thing has kicked off.
You think that was called from the sideline? Let's go down to Rhett.
Yeah, guys, this Idaho team was fired up at the half. They believe they are very much in this game. Dallas Afalava wanted a sack. He got one. Now let's see if they get a big play.
Jack Lane takes a shot but can't get it. They went for it, Rhett. They went for it. They have not been afraid, right? And we didn't get any sense from this Idaho group that they would come in shaking in their boots.
No, they have wanted to be aggressive. I think they've got to find another type of play where they can take a shot. That's the 3rd time they've ran that play to the left side of the field. And Tyshim Johnson, now in the game in the second half, was on top of the route the entire time. I want to see some combinations. That means, though, you've got to protect. They have struggled in that regard against this defensive front.
This crowd trying to help out. Eli Cummings. Derek Harmon right there to rip him down. And now it's 3rd down, where Oregon's been great on defense today.
I don't know if there's a team in America that got better on the interior defensive line like Oregon did. Post-spring football, Derek Harmon comes over from Michigan State in May. They brought in Jamari Caldwell. They have so much depth. On average, they want to play those defensive linemen about 35 snaps a game. Harmon was used to playing 65 snaps at his previous place. Got to be fresh here on a 3rd down.
Art Williams comes into the game at running back after a loss of 2. Lane, long throw. Dwyer pushed out of bounds by Nico Reed into the bench and incomplete.
That one's on Jack Lane. He's got to get the ball out. It's a really good concept, right? Pressure in his face. Just one too many hitches, guy. Not enough field. Ball out now. Just a hair late for the Portland native. Really like the play call from Luke Schleisner.
3rd career start for the 3rd-year sophomore. They've had some opportunities today in their passing game. So LJ Harm on to punt. Back to Tez Johnson. You can see he wanted a flag. And then he'll fair catch it at the 14. Oregon trying to jumpstart this offense here in the 3rd quarter.
Shout is going to come on.
Yes.
In the second half of this ball game. Have you played it in this van? And have you thought about what you're going to do when standing room only crowd is going absolutely bonkers in the second half?
We didn't play it in the van, but to turn it up a notch, we did play it on the boat at the Dime Time Retreat. So Shout is going to be amazing. I'm excited for it because, you know, I got to experience it in the spring game, but I think the real game, of course, is going to be even more special.
Dillon Gabriel in his van as he starts this possession on the move and throws it down at the feet of Noah Whittington. He got a van. Of all cars, he could get whatever he wanted, but he got a van because he wanted to really, in a short amount of time, make everybody know they were part of his family. You need a ride. Everybody needs a ride. Hop in my van. So we got to ride with him yesterday.
Yes, we did. We wanted to get in that van for quite some time, but as we've talked about a few times, #1 trait in this program is connection.
Here's Whittington. And now it's going to be 3rd down and 10. And, of course, Shout, the great tradition here. They play it to start the 4th quarter. We're looking forward to showing you that in 7 minutes. But we got a 14-point game here, too.
We got a tight game. And I say around the connection because Dillon Gabriel made sure he endeared himself to his teammates. Hey, come on, hop in the van. Let's go run routes. Let's go work out. Let's try to create moments that mimic adversity in games. That's what they're navigating right here.
Movement up front, flag down. Gabriel's going to throw it. They're going to blow this dead. The Idaho player jumped across because he thought Marcus Harper moved. So let's see who gets flagged here.
Offside. Defense, number 52. In the neutral zone with contact. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Yeah, that was Dallas Alfalava. They're not going to reward if you have a delayed reaction to a flinch by a player on either side of the line. So you jump across and hit. That's what he did. They're not going to reward that with a false start. So that's a big penalty. Instead of 3rd and 10, it's 3rd and 5. And that is a new emphasis this year. We should add 2 on the lines. There's Tez Johnson with a clutch catch. The connection between those two has been strong today. 7 yards on that pickup. And for Johnson, he leads the team with 8 receptions this evening.
Biggest area of growth for veteran receivers is knowing where the sticks are. Nice job getting past those sticks.
And now tempo. Patrick Herbert, his 2nd catch today. And a pickup of 4 yards.
I like a little tempo, and look, Oregon's got a bunch of them. Remember, there's headset communication. Will Stein is talking to Dillon Gabriel. He's calling the play. Here's Dillon Gabriel now relaying what that play is to the offensive line. Being relayed from the tight ends to the wide receivers. Note we have not seen Trayshawn Holden back. Casper is in at the bottom of the screen.
Of course, the yellow number ticking there on your screen is the play clock. The helmet communication cuts off right now at 15 seconds. Will Stein can no longer talk to Dillon Gabriel. So they ran it right up to 15 and then snapped the football. And now here comes another 3rd down. And before this 3rd and 5, we'll tell you more history for Dillon Gabriel. 28 completions. That's the most for an Oregon quarterback in his debut.
And it's on par for who he is as one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the history of college football under Will Stein. And good to see Trayshawn Holden back in at the top of the screen too, guy.
There goes Whittington. Gabriel, a bullet to Stewart. This is right at the line.
That's what I'm talking about. You want to get yourself a yard past the sticks. Let's see where the spot is. I think it's going to be tight.
May have to measure. He needed to get to the 37. Tommy McCormick, who made that tackle, has played a physical game today.
I'll tell you what, we were talking about the play clock cutting off, or the communication and the helmets cutting off at 15. What we've seen a lot of Will Stein doing in the second half with Dillon Gabriel is getting him to play early so that you can give him the alerts early. You can talk to him. You see them in that kind of muddle huddle near the line of scrimmage on this drive, so he can get the play and then communicate a couple different elements to the rest of the offense.
Let's get a measurement. This was a 3rd down play, so if this is short, It's a 4th down for the Ducks.
And I'm going for it here. I mean, I understand the time and score.
At your own 37-yard line?
Look, this is one of the best offenses we think in America. Well, we know Dan Lanning's an aggressive play caller.
Idaho has not moved the football into your red zone much. They can't sustain drives.
Let's see how tight it is.
You're right. Dan Lanning's done it many times before. It's short. Dan Lanning from the jump. In his 2 years at Oregon, has not been afraid to go for it in big games from this territory, Yogi.
This is a physical outfit. Rhett talked about it to kick off the broadcast, and here comes the first team offense. And let's see if we get a fullback in. 44 looks like he's in the ball game. Zach Grace.
And Jordan James, who jogged off earlier, he was down on the field. He has returned. That combination, Grace, the fullback, and James, combined for a touchdown earlier today. So 4th and inches at his own 37-yard line. Dan Lanning's lining up to go for this.
With an extra O-lineman, I believe Kavika Rogers is in there as well. So they are going with their biggest personnel grouping on 4th and a foot.
6 offensive linemen, a fullback, 2 tight ends. Dylan Gabriel is waiting for that play clock to start. Here it goes. 2 tight ends to the right, the extra offensive lineman to the left. The fullback is Zach Grace, and here's James. Connerly fell down, and Idaho thinks they got the stop.
The way on the field is the runner short of the line of the game.
Whoa, that's
touchdown, Idaho.
One of the offensive linemen fell and maybe blew that play up a little bit, and Tommy McCormick and the Vandal defense stand strong.
Well, they decide to pull the backside guard. He falls down.
He got tripped. Watch the feet here with the
fullback. Yep. He trips from his own guy. That's Lalangulu and Zach Grace. They trip in the backfield, and instead of just quick hitting, let's just run some inside zone, follow the fullback, they decide to pull the backside guard and run a power play. And what a stop for the Vandals.
Idaho has not lacked for opportunity, but they've lacked to take advantage of it. And now they're going to go trick play. They flip it back to Lane. He's got Cox wide open, and he scores a touchdown. Jake Cox with a trick play, and the Vandals look up at Autzen Stadium and say, "We're here." After the 4th down failure. Cameron Polk on for the point after. New holder this year for Idaho is...
The ruling on the field is a touchdown. The play is under further review.
Okay. So we'll hold on the holder, Xander Eccles. And we'll look back at this play. Is the pitch forward or backward? We had 2 pitches here, right? And keep in mind as you're watching this, if it's parallel, that's backwards. Only forwards is forwards.
Handoff.
Oh,
pitch 1, obviously pitch 2 is all good before the touchdown.
But Eli Cummings flips it to Mark Hamper. Does this go forward? Whew. Dean Blandino is watching this play closely. Our rules analyst.
As I think everyone around the country is by now with this score.
And let's bring Dean in. What do you think, Dean?
This is really close. The key is where it's first released to where it's first touched. If it's first touched in advance of where it's released from, I don't see enough to change this. It's very close. And remember, and if it's parallel, it's backwards. That pitch right there, it was right about the 41-yard line, and then it appeared to be touched right about the 41-yard line. It's really close. They're going to need something right down the line. I just don't think we have enough to change this, because now if that's forward, this second pass is an illegal forward pass.
Got it. So he just has to touch it behind the point from where Cummings releases it. Am I hearing you right?
Correct. Or even.
Okay.
If we're right on the same line, even or behind.
All right, thank you, Dean. Great explanation. Here's the call.
After review, the first pass was ruled backwards. That ruling stands. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Great explanation there from Dean.
It is the greatest game of all time, man. I mean, it is a game of centimeters now. When you look at that touchdown, there they are on the iPads, as they should. I think they'll be watching that one for a long time to come.
Can you post straight to Instagram from the iPad? Here's Pope with the point after. Idaho struggled and stopped Oregon on 4th down, and then immediately strikes with a trick play.
Oh, this is so good. Look at Cox right there, 33, fakes like he's blocking. 1 pitch, 2, down the sideline, doesn't step out of bounds. And I'll tell you what, the offensive line, they don't go past 3 yards down field. And what a play, what a moment. This place is stunned, and that sideline is not. Jake Cox, how about that, brother?
Idaho with the big Jake Cox trick play touchdown scores on 1 play after Oregon fails to convert a 4th and inches deep in their own territory. TV's in El Paso, Texas, fired up for Cox right now.
Yeah, that's right. His dad, Mike, is the DC, also at UTEP. So just imagine everybody getting jacked up for the Cox family. What a play by that tight end and for this program.
All right, so Oregon, you wanted adversity, you wanted a test. They've got it now. You know.
Okay, guys, take a look at this offensive line. They cannot go 3 yards down the field, so they got a hold on this play. Watch them. They all stay behind the 35. Oftentimes, these trick plays get called back because of a lack of discipline, especially early on. And look, this has been on repeat from us up here in the booth, and Rhett's seen it down on the field. The disciplined approach in all phases for this Idaho team has been so impressive, right? Defensively, not giving up explosive plays, gap sound. Offensively, that play, every O-line coach in America should take that and show it to his team tomorrow.
Oregon has not scored since the first half. Gabriel pumping laser to Terrence Ferguson for a 1st down. Well, we talked to Jason Eck. He's played some big games. This is the 5th FBS game they've been in as Ferguson is taking a moment. He's down on the field. And while he is down, we'll step aside for 30 seconds. There's Terrence Ferguson, number 3, just jogged off. Looked like he's all right. Take a look at the hit here that left him down for a couple extra seconds. That was Tommy McCormick getting a shoulder in, but he popped up. It was a 1st down play, so out of the pistol, here's Noah Whittington. Looks like he's got fresh legs, and he bursts forward. But just to make the point, this is the 5th FBS game that Idaho has played since Jason Eck arrived. They've won 1, they've lost 3. They were tied or leading at halftime of the other 4. That wasn't the case today. But earlier this week, he showed them video of everybody on TV picking Florida State to beat Georgia Tech. And he said, that's the same thing that's going to happen this week. Can we do the same thing that Georgia Tech did with Trayshawn Holden with another 1st down? And maybe Oregon starting to move things here.
Well, they've had success in the quick game for the majority of this ball game. You just look at the numbers of Dillon Gabriel, 30 of 35 now. His completion percentage is off the charts. I'd like to see the Ducks take a shot here. Their athleticism, can they create an explosive play and really get this defense that's so close to the line of scrimmage? Can they back them off?
Gabriel finds Whittington again, and Whittington makes the first man miss.
Noah Whittington on the reception.
Dan Lanning told Rhett Lewis at halftime, we need more explosives on offense.
Yeah, and I think right now, Idaho, there's a couple opportunities against this defense, but you got to give Dillon Gabriel credit. Instead of taking a shot, he had a shot on that last snap. He said, you know, let me just check it down, live for 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4.
The longest play of the day for Oregon's 24 yards. Here's Whittington. The longest play of the game was the Jake Cox touchdown for Idaho, for either team.
And this is one of the most explosive receiving corps in America.
Jackson Eck is down.
Timeout on the field for an injured player.
And as they tend to him, we'll take another 30-second break. Jackson Eck able to jog off. Good news for Idaho. Their star linebacker, the son of the head coach, Jason Eck. The oldest, the second oldest of 5. They had a arm wrestling competition in the Eck house this summer. Jackson won. He beat Dad. He told us, I feel like I'm the man of the house now. Third down here for the Oregon Ducks. Gabriel, quick throw. Tez Johnson went backwards, then broke a tackle and got the first down.
God, he's so explosive, isn't he? You know, young wideouts, when they come into programs, often they struggle going north and south. After they catch, they want to dance. Watch the catch. Wham! Immediately, he can feel the leverage and the momentum of the defender, and he gets north and south, first down.
If he gets tackled there, it's 4th down. Here's Whittington. Oh, he gets a block and then stumbles forward. He screams in despair. He was sniffing end zone if he hadn't been tripped up by the turf.
How about right here? Big Josh Connerly. Herbert sets the edge. Connerly uses his athleticism. He's one of the most athletic tackles in America. The Ducks are so close. I mean, they don't have one run over 20 yards. They've been close to a few.
Jordan James back into the game at running back. Third time we've seen Oregon in the pistol formation tonight. James straight ahead, breaks one, can't break 2. Tommy McCormick got a hold of his ankle, a pickup of 7 yards.
McCormick has been so impressive all day. His 9th tackle of the day. He's just everywhere, you know. And again, it's on repeat, guy, but it's just a really sound unit defensively. Let's see down here in the red zone. I'd watch Idaho, see if they stem or move their front late, try to confuse the offensive line.
Back to James, running behind Sadiq, and he gets tied up. As we near the end of the third quarter. The fourth quarter, we got some action. We also have one of the great traditions in college football. Shout is next. This is special. 54,000 here participating in Shout. To start every fourth quarter here at Autzen.
Let's go.
That's part of the Big Ten now.
Hey, how great is ball, baby? Let's go. Sometimes when you're at home and you got a lot of expectations, you need that crowd. You need Autzen, and Autzen delivered again. Let's see if the Ducks can answer to kick off the fourth.
That scene that they play here from Animal House was filmed 20 minutes away at a bar on Dexter Lake. So much of that film shot here in Eugene as we start the fourth quarter. Dillon Gabriel on second down to Terrence Ferguson, and he gets down inside the 10.
And the challenge here for Idaho is you've got to be able to answer the bell, not just the opponent, but the momentum as another player is down for the Vandals.
That's Tommy McCormick, who's made a, you mentioned it earlier, has made a ton of plays today for this defense. 14-7 our scores. We start the fourth quarter. Maybe they got a little emotion back. Rhett, what was it like down there?
When Schaub first started, fellas, I was like, this is a little subdued here on the Oregon sideline. But man, when they started hitting that final chorus, we started getting the heads bobbing and the fans took off. And it feels like this Oregon team is ready to feed off the shouting from this crowd.
You're supposed to be quiet when your team's in the red zone, but this energy feels good right now.
Well, the excitement and anticipation is unlike any year in recent history for Oregon.
A test they didn't expect, perhaps, this crowd. Here's Noah Whittington. And he gets down to about the 5-yard line. We'll see if Tommy McCormick comes back. He was able to jog off for Idaho. Sir Barnes will come into the game defensively for the Vandals. 2nd and goal.
This is an area where Oregon loves to find Terrence Ferguson the ball. He's at the point in the bunch at the bottom of the screen. Man-to-man.
Pressure. Gabriel has it bad, and Tez Johnson caught it anyway on the deflection. Picks up a yard, and now it's 3rd and goal.
And that's a walk if it's not deflected for a touchdown. Let's see who gets that arm up. Oh, there it is.
Jakari Larmond.
Nice job by him, timing up the throw. Are you in 4-down territory here if you're the Oregon Ducks?
Extra offensive lineman again, Yogi.
So. Yep. And your fullback, Zach Grace.
And 2 tight ends. This formation failed on a 4th and inches earlier this half. Idaho will use a timeout here.
Timeout. Idaho. Media timeout.
3rd and goal upcoming. That is a 7-point game. Next Saturday, number 2 Ohio State takes on Western Michigan in prime time at the Shoe. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Next week, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. And they'll be here on October 12th, Ohio State. Oregon's got work to do, though. 3rd down and goal. Dillon Gabriel, pressure, jumps away from it. Flag down. Gabriel reaches, and he is down shy of the line of the goal line. And we'll check on this flag.
This one might be coming back. Yeah, there's going to be a hold on the O-line.
Wow. This has not been a clean game for the Oregon offensive line.
Holding. Offense. Number 72. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's the 7th penalty against Oregon tonight.
See the right guard right there inside. It's going to be right there when you see 5 trying to get away. Larman, and that's when the 2nd-year player, Lala Ulu, grabbed the jersey. It was an easy call, and man, was it a gritty effort from Gabriel.
So now it's 3rd and goal, backed up to the 13. Pressure coming. Terrence Ferguson trying to get away, and he can't. From Kyron Beecham, Dallas Afalava came over to help finish it. They do have a weight room in Moscow, and these guys have been in it. And now Beecham is down.
For an injured player.
And it's not easy to corral Terrence Ferguson like that.
It's just such a sound group. Everywhere Jason Eck has been, he has made better. Whether it was when he started his coaching career as a GA at Wisconsin under Barry Alvarez, after his playing career, which, by the way, those headshots are amazing. of Jason Eck.
He won a Rose Bowl there as a Badger.
And he learned his foundation in coaching, talking to him about his path. There he is. Love the old school shoulder pads, but always wanted to be a coach. Joined the staff at Idaho with Nick Holt early on. And then he just watched his career continue to go. And then when this head coaching opportunity opened up a few years ago at Idaho, he jumped at it. They hired him. He felt as though they could be a powerhouse at the FCS level. They're ranked 7th in the preseason polls. I got a feeling no matter what after this, they're going to climb a few slots.
Pressure field goal here for Atticus Sappington, who missed from 51. In the first half. That's clean and straight through. So Oregon stalls out after the penalty, but is able to extend it to a 2-score game.
Timeout on the field.
Sappington's first made field goal as a Duck. Idaho came to play without a cloud in the sky. The Ducks are trying to weather the storm. The final drive recaps the entire day around the conference. Tonight after football, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. One push-up for every point. Oh, and a clap to finish. How's that form there, Yost?
It's good. You know, he's had a tough offseason. He's had to get after it. You watch the documentary about the team out west. Ducks had a busy offseason. He's been everywhere.
After the field goal from Sappington, a 17-7 Oregon lead. Oregon was shut out in the third quarter. That field goal, the first points of the second half. This is a team that dominated differential last year throughout the season. Look at that, 27.7. That was the point differential. Led the country last year. Today, you could do that math, Yost.
Yeah, it's been a little different.
Right?
And look, we talked to Dan Lanning about this team. He's been around championship teams, right, at previous stops. And, you know, it's hard to know. It's hard to know in training camp. You got to see it. This team has met adversity. How do they rise up in the last 13 minutes of this ball game against a team that believes?
Jack Lane, the Oregon native, setting up the throw to Hamper down the sideline, and he wins the jump ball over the head of Brandon Johnson. 29-yard pickup.
Tell you what, I like that there's contact down there, right? Maybe a little bit of push from the DB, a little bit of a elbow from Hamper. I like how they didn't call anything on that play at the end. Let them play. And guys, how many times have we talked about it? To win a big game, you got to make 3 big-time throws. Here's the end of it. Johnson, he never looks back this time. Lucky they didn't get a PI as well.
How did Hamper finish that catch? Lane, pressure, everybody swarming around, and it's batted away. They're playing it loose, no whistle. Jamari Caldwell is the one that batted it as Johnson recovered it.
Recovered by the defense.
Oh, did that come out? Do we have an empty hand forward? Let's see.
It looked like he threw it in the first snap. Like Caldwell's the one that batted it down. Let's see. Yeah, that to me looks like all day long it's a throw. Looking from this angle. Look, it's the right move, though, from an administration standpoint.
Of a fumble recovered by a defense is under further review.
Yeah, look, the way that it works for those at home is that whenever there's something funky like this happens where the ball is loose, they let the play go instead of blowing it dead. So the right job from the officials. I would imagine they're going to take a quick look at this and see that there was forward momentum and a throw from the quarterback.
Jim Wary goes to put on the headset. He's going to talk to the centralized replay center in Rosemont, Illinois. There you see live shots of the deliberation, the discussion. This is brand new this year, a world-class, state-of-the-art facility. The top priority being on seeing everything, getting it right, doing it efficiently. We've been able to see some views of that throughout the opening weekend, you'll be seeing it all year long. So on the left there, that's Rosemont, Illinois, the centralized replay center, where they are going over this frame by frame. They've got their hands on everything, and the idea is to get it right and get it right efficiently.
Looked like we were going to get the decision. They're going on back.
Usually when that happens, Yogi, it's to check the clock. That was a first down play, and the offense is coming back out for Idaho, and they're lining it up. So it is second down. We can see the team out there. This just may be a clock situation now.
After review, it's an incomplete pass. Second down from the 43-yard line.
Normally I wouldn't jump the referee like that, Yogi, but everyone else had lined it up. We like to give Jim Wary the dramatic announcement. Here's one more look. This was ruled fumble on the field. So 1:52 after getting that time back on the clock that came off as it ran. Second down. Crowd back in it. After a 29-yard completion 2 plays ago by Idaho to get into Ducks territory. Pressure again. Sets up the screen perfectly to Nate Thomas. And Thomas is into space. And he finally goes down inside the 10. Explosive plays from this Vandal offense.
You got to imagine Jeffrey Bossa not in the middle of this defense here. Nice job setting it up. Oregon brings pressure. They bring an extra defender. Beautiful job from Lane, just buying some time. Finds Cummings, offensive line, escorts him down inside the 10. And I'll tell you, we talked to the head coach Jason Eck earlier this week, and he said the number one word they talked about was believe. Kind of like that Ted Lasso, believe. This team does that.
Jack Wagner is in the game now with Jack Lane, the other quarterback, at the bottom of the screen. Direct snap to the backup quarterback, Wagner, and he works his way down to the 1-yard line. So both quarterbacks on the field that time.
Well, they told us they were going to have a package for Wagner. Only saw him on one snap in the first half. They pulled 2 offensive linemen. Follows the lineman, his lead back, and how about the effort? This Idaho team always plays hard. But you got a feeling now they know they can do something special as both are in the huddle again.
So Jack Lane, the starter, he calls the play, and now he's going to go out to the top of the screen, and Wagner remains in the game. He takes it, looking to run. Wagner cut down. Kobe Savage, and that's a loss of 2 yards.
How about Amari Washington? Are you kidding me? Just blowing up the entire play. Watch him right here. He's going to get right into the backfield. Strength, effort, he's all over it. Savage finishes it off.
What does Autzen Stadium have here on 3rd and goal?
They got their money's worth for this one.
Direct snap to the running back. Lane fakes a flip, and he scores a touchdown. 2 touchdowns on trick plays for the Vandals. Whoa! The first career rushing touchdown for the kid who grew up coming to games here at Oregon, Jack Lane. Cameron Pope on for the point after.
Kept the point after.
And whistles. Jason Eck having a conversation here with Jim Wary. They were late to substitute, but it looked like
the touchdown is clear. We will now play the try.
So the stoppage was just for, they were just confirming the touchdown to make sure that there wasn't a forward toss maybe.
Yeah, hey, looked at it once on the first big touchdown explosive play, the lone explosive play before that screen on this drive.
Pope's got it. Under 10 minutes to go here in regulation. Jack Lane, the former Oregon State Player of the Year, grew up coming to games with his twin brother, his younger brother, his dad, came to every home opener for the Ducks from just 90 minutes up north in Portland, and what a dream moment.
What a dream moment indeed. Think he's going to throw, says, no, I'm going to tuck it and run. Show the athleticism. How about the excitement, the celebration? What you got, Lake Oswego? 17-14.
Idaho trying to beat Oregon for the first time since 1950. The head coach, Jason Eck, trying to break a 23-game losing streak against the Ducks. Jack Lane, the Oregon kid. Oregon fans expected to enjoy themselves in a very different way than maybe they have been today.
Look, I think everybody did come into this. You knew it would be competitive because Idaho wasn't going to lay down. But I don't think anybody expected it to be a 3-point ball game with less than 10 to go.
Fair catch from Noah Whittington, and let's go down to Rhett.
Yeah, guys, I'd say that, you know, the looks on the faces of these Oregon Ducks are not what you would expect at this point in this game. But I tell you, the one guy who's out there trying to rally this group is Jeff Asa. Even though he's not on the field, he's acting like a coach on the sidelines here. He's standing next to his position coach, Coach Michalowski, working the iPads with his fellow teammates. They're doing everything they can here.
It's got to hurt him to not be on the field with his defense right now, injured in the first half.
He is the captain. He is the leader. He's the alpha of this program, and I think they've missed him in the middle of this defense.
Dylan Gabriel connects with Evan Stewart, who's able to pick that off his back shoulder.
Evan Stewart on the reception.
Sometimes it looks so easy for this Oregon offense, and you look up, they've got 17 points.
Yeah, there have been some unforced errors, the offensive line, some penalties. The biggest thing now, if you are Oregon, you have to compete to stay in the present moment. So with Dylan Gabriel earlier this summer, he had a chance to be a counselor at the Elite 11. He's spending time with Pete Carroll. They had a conversation about that. Can you compete on the stages that you're at as a QB to be connected to the only snap you play?
Here's Jordan James with a first down. A big chunk for him out to the 44-yard line.
We talked about Dylan Gabriel earlier this summer, spending time as one of the greats of all time. There's the photo of him, got to sit in that conversation.
Him and Pete Carroll. As that's a couple of yards. Zach Krotzer there with the stop.
But it was such a unique environment. Cade Klubnik, the quarterback at Clemson. Caton Salter, the quarterback at Liberty, once at Tennessee. Those three are asking one of the greats, especially up here in the Pacific Northwest, formerly of the Seattle Seahawks. So many questions about the position, and Gabriel's talking about high performance, big moments. What is it like? And he said, you just have to compete to be connected because everyone else will follow your lead.
Gabriel to Jordan James again. And the pile gets pushed. James will not go down, and he earns himself a first down. 7 yards on the pickup, but he took 28 steps to get, that was amazing.
And here they go. When they get a first down, they want to go a little quicker, right? Remember, the headset communication cuts off at 15. Got about 13 seconds left. Still got 6 seconds to get elements of information from Will Stein.
Gabriel checks it down again. Jordan James. James racing to the sideline, and he's got another first down after a pickup of 11 yards.
The amount of checkdowns has been phenomenal. I mean, you know, for all the young quarterbacks watching, you don't want to force things in tight games. You want to just relatively be boring. Take what the defense gives you, move the sticks as they have the majority of the ball game, just can't finish it off.
19 touches for Jordan James today. he gets off the field. Noah Whittington is on. Dylan Gabriel. There's Terrence Ferguson. Ferguson, the linebacker, gets down near the tight end. It looks like a linebacker sometimes, but he gets down near the red zone, a first down.
We run a version of this play in the third quarter. Fake the toss, trying to work up the seam. This was the play where Ferguson got banged up a little bit in the third. Same concept there, and I got a feeling they're going to keep feeding their best players here on a critical drive.
7 catches for Terrence Ferguson today. Here's Whittington, who gets upended by Tommy McCormick. Good to see him back for the Idaho defense after he was shaken up earlier in this half.
11 tackles from McCormick, and he's been so sound. I mean, we've seen that play be a touchdown so many times, not against Jason X squad with this senior pre-med 4.0 captain.
2nd down and 7. Fakes the toss again. Gabriel steps up, throws too high for Ferguson near that front pylon. And now it's 3rd and 7.
He's going to want this one back. He's staring down Ferguson the whole time. I think Gabriel had a chance to run it here. See that lane right here? See that lane right there? I would run it. There was nowhere really to go with the ball.
Oregon just over 50% on 3rd down. I mean, look at this. Dylan Gabriel got 360 passing yards. And this is batted at the line of scrimmage. They are not blowing this play dead, and now the referee, Jim Wary, does. An incomplete pass. It's 4th down. Sam Brown with the deflection. And now it's 4th and 7. A 34-yard field goal is what it would be from here.
Let's max protection, and Brown just crosses the face of Josh Connerly. I mean, the edges of Idaho have won on some critical downs in this ball game. We saw James Newby doing it a lot, and here we are on a 4th down.
Timeout on the field for an injured player.
You could check that, finish that thought, Yogi. 4th down. Here we are on 4th down. Their offense was on the field.
I would imagine in this instance you're going to take the points.
They stopped it for a potential injured player, but nobody is down right now.
You know, in big games, when you are a big-time team, I remember this was Oregon back in the day under Mark Helfrich. I can remember talking to members of their staff. And when they were in games against teams that they should have beaten by 2, 3, 4 scores, there's our injured player down.
It's Isaiah King.
He's had a heck of a game, too. Hope that he is all right. But the point is that sometimes when you are the king of the mountain, or when you are that team that's targeted and everybody's trying to chase you, when you win a game or you're in a tight game, you just want to, I call it exhale wins, where you just exhale, we got through that, versus, hey, we get to go play. We have to keep the pedal down.
Still to come, it's a big night at Husky Stadium when Washington squares off with Weber State under the lights. Tonight at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. They were in the national championship game last year.
And you know what's been interesting about this first weekend, we had a couple week 0 games, is that there's some truths in football. It's the ultimate team game. And we've seen Oregon tonight. They have moved the ball a lot. I like what their defensive front has done. But there's just been moments where it's been one guy. It's been that 111. 2 guys just out of position or not making a play or a penalty. And that has hurt them. And it's allowed Idaho just to continue to find momentum as we see the offense on the field for the Ducks.
On 4th down and 7. They're 0 for 2 on 4th down today. And movement up front. Man. Dallas Alfalava jumped on the clap.
That's a
offside.
Nice.
Defense, number 52. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
So now it's 4th and 2.
Yeah, it's 4th and 2, and that's a really nice job at Dylan Gabriel, because we don't know. Were they just trying to draw them off sides? I like the motion, right? It's a sudden movement, completely legal. The motion from the back and then the clap. And they're not going. It was execution. That's a small thing, guy, but that is what veteran quarterbacks can do. And now we've got 4th and even shorter.
They got stopped on a 4th and inches earlier in this half. It led to an Idaho touchdown. They snap it. Gabriel, Tez Johnson, first down, touchdown, Oregon. A clutch time conversion.
The ruling on the field of a touchdown is under further review.
All right, let's take a look. Ruling on the field is touchdown, so Jim Wary back to the headset. Rosemont's going to start looking at this. They've already started.
Yeah, that's a touchdown to me.
The question is, when he kicks the pylon, the play is dead.
And I think the
ball has to be across the goal line when he kicks that pylon.
So this is a great angle right here. Dead ball is the ball in front of his leg. From this angle, it looks like it is. We'll have to see maybe from...
It's tough. Now remember, regardless of the outcome of this review, he got the first down at minimum, right?
And again, call touchdown. Yep.
Say it, Yogi.
Call the touchdown. So this has to be conclusive evidence to overturn this call.
In college football, the pylon is dead. So even if the ball is outside of the pylon, once he touches it, it's a touchdown. But let's bring in Dean Blandino in LA. Dean, what do you think?
That's a great point about the pylon. When his foot hits the pylon, the play is dead. He's out of bounds. Now we have to look at where the ball is in relation to the goal line. What they're doing now, they can take a couple of angles in the replay booth and back at the command center, put them side by side and sync them.
So, Dean, we've got touchdown.
And that is the right call, yeah.
So,
that is the right call. When you look at that, you have to have clear and obvious evidence to overturn it. And it looked like the ball was just breaking the plane when the foot hit the pylon.
Thank you so much, Dean. And not just the explanation of the play, but I just want to reiterate what he said there when Jim Wary started speaking as well. He said the replay center in Rosemont, they can stitch different angles together to make sure that they can confirm or uphold a touchdown. All right. TLDR, touchdown. Extra point, good.
Well, let's take a look at this touchdown. Love the concept. Same concept other side of the field from the first quarter. Kyle Casper runs a little slant. The DB has to go over the top. Tez Johnson does what he's been pretty accustomed to doing since he got to Eugene, which is find the end zone.
5:36 to go in the fourth quarter, and this game is maybe tighter than many expected, but
well, this is the play right here. He's going to run a little slant, and what that is going to do is going to force the defender in man coverage to go over the top. Perfect job. It's nowhere near a rub or a pick. Just beautiful from Kyle Casper, the young wideout, and Tez Johnson knows it. That's a second touchdown where he's got an assist. The first half it was Evan Stewart. Right here in the fourth, Kyle Casper.
You know, this is a program that really lacks star receivers. They built this thing on offense with star running backs. Tez Johnson's got 11 catches today. The year after, he set an Oregon single-season receiving record. So they found a star receiver is the point.
Yeah, and last year they had a couple, right? Troy Franklin, again, he's first team all-league. Last time Oregon had a first team all-league wideout was 2010. I think they got a conversation guy for this year, and Tez Johnson, he's one of the better wideouts in America. And it's fun to watch this group under Junior Adams. Junior Adams coached Cooper Kupp, coached so many great receivers throughout his career.
So now Idaho's got to move quickly, right? Down by 10. They got the 2 timeouts plus the 2-minute timeout, which is new in college football this year. Lane over the middle to Hamper for a healthy gain on first down. Matt Irwin has come into the game from off the 2 deep to make that tackle. Trying to find solutions maybe. Again, Jeffrey Bassa banged up in the first half. We have not seen him since early in the game. The star linebacker, the middle linebacker. Lane breaks the pocket and he gets clipped by Teote. And Yogi, this year it's not just Bassa the player. He's the green dot guy. He's the communication guy in this defense.
Yeah, and the way that it works is that there's a helmet that you got to take on, take off. So now it's either Bryce Betcher or Devin Jackson at the backer.
Cummings on 3rd down, and he's got the first. A conversion, a pickup of 5 yards. Just the second 3rd down conversion for Idaho tonight.
Nice job by these pulling linebackers, getting a body on a body. Jabbar Muhammad gets kicked out, finds a crease for a first down. But look, I'll say it again, guy. To win a big game, you've got to make 3 big throws in the second half. Jack Lane's made 1. Does he have 2 more in his bag in the last 4 minutes and change?
Lane, back shoulder, Dwyer drops it. Oh, he can't believe it.
I can't believe it wasn't an OPI either. Got away with 1, I think, there, but this would have been 2 or 3. You got to make 3. See that left arm extended, and Dwyer was the guy the staff talked to us about, and he knows it. He knows it. He's played well in big games. A touchdown against Washington State a couple years ago. Wants it back.
Pressure, and Mateo Uyunglele gets home.
They come at you in waves. Look at the hands from number 10. Perfect job. It looked like they're trying to set up a screen again. Nothing doing.
There was no play. The substitution process had not been completed. We'll replay 3rd down.
Jack Lane and Idaho snapped it before Oregon was allowed to substitute. If Idaho substitutes, the offense subs, the defense has to be allowed to sub. The officials prevent you from snapping the ball.
Okay, if I am right now, there's Jason Eck. He's going to go to his best play. You see him looking at that book right now? He's trying to look at the time, the situation. Should we go for it? I think it's 4 down territory. Try to get half.
Pressure again. Ball comes out. Idaho recovers it. The recovery's around the spot of where Lane got hit. So either way, it's going to be 4th down and forever. Derek Harmon, 55.
And Jordan Birch, how about the twist, the athleticism? This front just keeps coming and coming.
They're punting here on 4th and 28. And now whistles.
I think they're going to look it.
Covered by the defense is under further review.
This is going to be forward pass or a fumble here.
The recovery was Nate Azzopardi, the second-year captain left guard. On the field, it was ruled a fumble and a recovery by Idaho. Let's see, Yogi, what we think.
Yep, hand is not going forward. I think that is a fumble, guy. So now it's about, of course, the spot, the clock, in a game this tight. And Jordan Birch, he might get the game ball for the defense of the Ducks. But one of the bigger questions coming in was how would this defensive front fare, and would someone emerge as a game wrecker? We've seen Teote, Uyunglele, you've referenced the guys inside, and Caldwell and Harmon multiple times. Jordan Birch, a huge recruit coming out of high school, transferred to South Carolina. You look at how he's transformed his body.
The ruling of a fumble recovered by the offense is confirmed. 4th down.
Good call by them, but man, they just keep coming. And look, nobody's going to be thrilled with the Oregon Ducks here. There's still time left. Crazy things can happen. But the defensive front has done a nice job.
Tez Johnson back deep. He's got 2 touchdowns in this game. LJ Harm, who did a lot of this in the first half, less in the second, will punt it away. Under pressure from Kyle Casper. He hits a spiral out to Tez Johnson, who's going to try and return it. Flag comes down. Another flag. And now Johnson gets twisted across the 35. 43 yards on that punt. We'll check these penalties.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 14. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down, Oregon.
Kamari Terrell.
Yeah, the right call. You often teach, kind of be like a basketball player. Just put your arms up, kind of run there, but do not extend, do not have contact.
If Pacific Northwest teams are unintimidated by the Ducks, it only gets harder the next 2 weeks. They play Boise State and Oregon State. You think you got some Oregon kids on those teams too? Just like Idaho has 9?
I think you are correct, partner.
So a 10-point game. Idaho electing to punt it away. They've got their 2 timeouts. And remember, again, the clock will stop at the 2-minute timeout, new to college football this year. So effectively 3 timeouts for the Vandals. Here's Noah Whittington, and that's right. Idaho wanted on 1st down. Keyshawn James Newbies had a great game, and Idaho will take a timeout. And let's take a moment to look ahead at the Ducks schedule. Not look too far ahead, Yogi, but let's look ahead. You see what they've got in the non-conference the next 2 weeks, and then Big Ten play begins September 28th.
Yeah, and I think, look, we've all talked about this one how many times on October 12th, right? Good luck getting a ticket. But to your point, and what we've seen today and throughout college football, is you've got to bring it every week. So Boise State, it'll be rocking next weekend here. It's going to be fun to watch them with their new full-time now head coach. And we know what the rivalry game is against the Beavs in Corvallis. So you can't just think you're going to coast until that game. And I know Dan Lanning and his team does not. But I think there's been so much hype and expectations that we all came into today thinking the Ducks were going to roll like they have historically in these home openers, FCS games. That has not been the case.
Right now, tickets for that Ohio State game, standing room only, going for over $300. Idaho just used a timeout. Now 2nd down. Here's Tez Johnson. He fumbles it and goes out of bounds. Abraham Williams came over. And that's great news for Idaho. Pick up a 6.
You're trying to get everything, but you do want to get down and try to stay in bounds.
Timeout, Idaho, for the 3rd and final of the half. Please reset the game clock to 2:19.
He did not go out of bounds. That's critical there. I thought he stepped out. He did not go out here. The ball gets popped out, but he didn't go out.
Nice job by him.
So the clock didn't stop.
And he took a shot. It has been a physical game. Dwayne McDougal on that one.
From Oakland, California, McClymonds High School. Brave and bold, that's what it says on the back of that Vandals helmet. Those are not just words.
Jason Eck has done a heck of a job since he has shown up. This team was down for a long time. I go back to what he told this team all week. It was one word. It was believe. And this team has done that.
Do you put it in the air here? Do you run it? If you don't get the 1st down, you know it'll at least go down to the 2-minute.
I think we'll see him run the football. Only 5 guys in the box there.
Has Johnson in motion. Gabriel. He throws, and it's incomplete. And the clock stops at 2:14. And now it's 4th and 7.
And if you're Idaho here, you are bringing everything you got. Shift, motion. God, they don't bring anybody. They just win with their defensive front. Body discontorted, trying to make that throw for Gabriel. That defensive front won. Like, they've won a lot tonight without bringing a 5th guy.
Ross James on to punt to Jordan Dwyer. And Dwyer's not going to be able to do anything with this. Great punt by James, who rolls it all the way down to the 13-yard line. 55 yards on the boot. Now, this is the defensive pressure you're talking about, Yogi.
Yeah, this Oregon defense has done that all game long. Been in the backfield a bunch. 4 sacks, 7 TFLs. They have come in waves. A variety of players. Tatum Tuioti. How about Mateo Uiagalelei? Interior defensive line has gotten after. Here's Uiagalelei again. Nobody's playing more than 35 snaps. They want to make sure they are fresh. The guys inside doing a really nice job. That's Derek Harmon, the transfer from Michigan State. It is a huge strength for this team. And they have grown and grown and grown since Dan Lanning and Tosh Lupoy have arrived on the defensive front. And look, my favorite stat is they've got 10 second-year players like Uiagalelei and Winston right there on that front.
Jack Lane, and it's dropped by Dwyer. This is their go-to receiver, and he's held now 2 drops in the second half. So we hit the 2-minute timeout. 1:59 to go here in regulation. Oregon, Idaho, down to the wire. 2-minute timeout, a 10-point Oregon lead. This game was as close as 17-14 here in the second half. Jack Lane, Idaho's starting quarterback, went into the tent, and so the backup Jack Wagner, who we've seen run the ball today, has come into the game. And he throws, and it's to Mark Hamper's back. He was not looking, maybe some miscommunication there, and now it's 3rd and 10. There's Lane.
Well, right now, if I'm Oregon on this 3rd down, I'm heating it up, right? You already got this defensive line. Keep an eye on Birch and Uiagalelei coming off both of the edges. But do you bring somebody extra? I would. Is it Muhammad playing in the slot?
Wagner. Pressure again. Wagner is picked off by Nico Reed. He was trying to get it to Dwyer, and Reed made an acrobatic interception.
Reed saw the route coming the whole time. Top of the screen, watch the athleticism, flip his hips. Go pick this thing, pluck it out of the air, and I love the sideline. Just eruption, elation, celebrating together. They know it hasn't gone as planned, but they get that turnover. They've been talking about all camp long. Pressure from the front, pick in the back end, and they go celebrate with the fans in the end zone.
Idaho has no timeouts left. Victory formation for the Ducks. Dylan Gabriel will kneel this out, and I have a question for you, which is, all's well that ends well?
Well, Dan Lanning has a phrase that I guarantee he'll say after this ball game, which is, we got to go to the doctors, which he says the players need to take the medicine, and sometimes that medicine doesn't taste very good. And I got a feeling In his third year, he's looking at this program and saying, okay, offensive line, too many penalties. Defensively, we got to come up with a few more turnovers. Offensively, we got to finish drives because we gave a team hope. And against this Oregon team that is so much hype and legit expectations, they still have one of the best rosters in America, much like Ohio State, which, oh, by the way, was 17-3 at halftime. You have got to bring it every single snap. I think this is a great opportunity for this team to take a jump, because a week from today, right around this time of the night, they'll be hosting Boise State.
Ohio State went on to win that game 52-6, right?
Fair. Yeah, totally. I just think that for this team, they came up against an Idaho team. We'll be tracking them all year long. I think they'll have a ton of success at their level.
You spent a lot of time with Jerry DiNardo in the camp tour. He said yesterday he thinks Dan Lanning's the most talented coach he's ever been around. So he's going to get tested now, right? This is a moment for him and his team. But they got to win. They got to win. They're 1-0.
And I love the mutual respect right there. Dan Lanning, he's come up through the coaching ranks. Jason Eck, his team did not flinch. I'll tell you what, Jason Eck's going to be on the radar of a lot of people, as he should be.
That's the end of the game.
Great job for him and his team as a head coach. I know they didn't get the win, but hopefully they came out healthy with their quarterback. I know they came out confident after this game. And for the Ducks, look, it's hard to get a win. You got to celebrate it. And then they move on to the very next one, and that is going to be how this season will go for one of the favorites to not just win the new look Big Ten, but to go to the CFP and have a shot for the whole thing.
Preseason pick second in this league. Dillon Gabriel, 41 of 49 for 380, 2 touchdowns. Tez Johnson, 12 catches for 81 yards and 2 scores.
The Stars arrived. They showed up when they had to. Hopefully Jeffrey Bassa can show up again next week. That was a loss that I think was felt over the last 3 quarters of this ball game.
With the win, Oregon extends its nation's longest non-conference home winning streak to 33 games. 24-14. Ducks are 1-0 in the Big Ten era. For our entire crew, Red Lewis, Yogi Roth, Denny Blunt, Mike Hassan, everybody. I'm Guy Haberman saying we had a blast in Eugene. Thanks for being here. But the night's not over. We send you up to UW in Seattle coming up.